and gentlemen, my name is Paul Sound. I'm here with my associates, Primrose Rawson and Jeff Sullivan. We're here today to discuss with you our analysis and recommendations of Briggs & Stratton and the strategy we think they should pursue in the future. To start, we the issues that we believe we're facing Briggs & Stratton are as they are in front of you. We believe it's important to build customer awareness of the finished product brand of Briggs & Stratton. Right now they're currently an engine manufacturer. And as we go on through the presentation, we're going to discuss how we think we should branch out from that product line and how to maintain a leadership position in the market in which we currently operate, and how we're going to expand out within there and maintain our leadership position across new markets. When we first started the analysis, we thought it was very pertinent to undertake Michael Porter's 5 forces analysis of the outdoor power equipment market in which they operate. And as you see in front of you, we believe that it's definitely a high barrier to entry market, which is definitely positive for Briggs & Stratton, as the manufacturing facilities and the product capabilities that you must have to enter the market are definitely high capital expenditure. So somebody off the street definitely can't walk into the market and have an effective product line and drop hundreds of millions of dollars that are necessary in order to enter the market. We have, we're not strictly, but mostly a B2B market. We manufacture our engines and currently distribute them to our customers, who then place them into their product line and distribute them through their wholesalers or their retailers. We definitely have some pull and sway, definitely as the leader in the market, and because of that, our customers definitely owe us some allegiance, and because of that, that's definitely a profitable structure for us. In regards to substitutes, you're definitely looking at areas where people won't need the engines in which we manufacture, so something like professional lawn service, where they may actually initially buy a Briggs & Stratton engine for the operation of their business, but we want everybody to own a Briggs & Stratton mower. And what we want is not for people to outsource, basically, their mowing capabilities, if you want to put it that way. And in regards to our suppliers, we're in a very high production cost industry, high raw materials, high labor costs, but most of our products are commoditized. Our largest and most popular engine is an aluminum-based engine, and commodity pricing may or may not be in our favor depending on the current economic climate. So our relationships with our suppliers, depending on supply and demand, will change year over year. But ultimately, we do think that we have more of a moderate, hand-in-hand strategic alliance with our suppliers. And there's definitely a strong rivalry in the market. My associates in the ongoing parts of the presentation are going to talk about the competition a little bit more closely. But there's definitely a tight, about 5 or 6 major competitors, and including some expanding international competitors that really make it to a strong rivalry when it comes to product pricing and promotion. I'm going to pass off the floor off. Oh, excuse me, I have one more slide. Our recommendation ultimately is we wish to forward and backward integrate in our market. I will go into more depth into that a little bit later. We want to take our Briggs & Stratton engine, place them into a finished product. That is the biggest step we think we need to make, and then will make the most sense for us moving forward. And ultimately, build a brand. Build a brand around Briggs & Stratton outside of our engines and our motors. We want to have a Briggs & Stratton product line. In order to increase long-term growth rates in a small growth market, we need to diversify and build consumer awareness. Now I'm passing it forward.
Thank you. So just to speak about the integration, vertical integration in 2 components, we first looked at forward integration and backward integration. In the forward integration, we suggest that we look into acquiring or merging with Toro, which is a finished good manufacturer, and then of course MTD, which is another finished good manufacturer. The reason we chose Toro and MTD is because Toro has the ability to penetrate in the premium priced market segment, and MTD is on the lower price market segment. So by having a finished product that caters to 2 different segments, you're able to use your resources and capabilities to have a mixed strategy, basically. Toro is also the leading manufacturer of snow throwing equipment, and this enables us to use the patented engine capabilities that we have and resources, and you can use it to move on to snow throwing engine equipment as well, instead of only focusing on lawnmower. MTD is the nation's largest producer of the walk-behind lawnmowers. So basically positioning ourselves in various aspects to be the leader in a total sense is where we are going with our corporate strategy. So the overall integration is, this is regards to the backward integration we're looking at this point, which is right now, Briggs & Stratton purchases their piston rings, spark plugs, and valves. So we're going backward by purchasing our inputs, using material requirements planning and inventory reduction program that we have spent 20 million so far, and we'll be possibly spending 40 million next year, into integrating the whole process with all the production improvement programs we have, and achieving economies of scale and scope. So I will now hand it over to Jack, who's going to talk about the implementation.
Okay, Mr. Rose. So my colleagues have given a bit of an overview of the situation with respect to Briggs Stratton, some of the options that we have at play, and what we'd like to do, and Primrose delved into it regarding our forward and backward integration strategy. Help us get a little bit more control over our inputs, and as well as some more customer awareness. I'm going to talk a little bit about the implementation, and a little bit about, just touch on some of the financial capacity that Briggs Stratton has, and allow them to start to input these projects and to actually achieve results that they're looking for with this forward and backward integration strategy. In particular, one of the unique things about Briggs Stratton in their industry is that they actually don't have any long-term debt. So they're a company that does two things when it takes out retained earnings. One, it has a payout ratio on its dividend policy, which it pays out to its shareholders, and it's maintained the ratio both on a relative level and an absolute level in terms of numbers. And two, they will finance all their projects out of retained earnings. We feel that this is not necessarily the best strategy for them, and I'm going to talk about some competitive reasons why it's not. In particular, the macro environment and the competitive environment that Briggs Stratton is in is one that's becoming increasingly competitive with tighter margins and slower growth and higher industry concentration. They're currently dealing with a lot of issues with regards to Japanese manufacturers coming in and competing with their products, manufacturers that have lower labor costs. They've got different strategic positions. For example, Honda, one of their competitors, but just opening a manufacturing facility in the United States to compete directly in that market. They also control some of the end products, so they've got their name right on the engine, so they've got a little bit of more in front of the customer strategy at the moment, which is what we're trying to get in front of with our forward integration strategy. And in addition, one of the things with Honda is that they also are able to make some of their parts compatible for the parts of their competitors. So when a piece of a lawnmower from one company goes bad, but the entire lawnmower isn't trashed yet, Honda can then take their part and put it on that, so they get a little bit of revenue from that. That makes them a little bit more competitive. So that's one thing we have to watch for, and we're satisfying that with our implementation strategy, with our forward integration. On the other side is trying to deal with costs, in particular with risks such as the current exchange rate with the US dollar very high and continuing to go high relative to the Japanese yen, which makes it difficult on a cost strategy. And that's where the backward integration strategy comes in. Again, that Primrose talked about, allows us to control the cost, input the efficient production processes, and sort of streamlines those activities, take them through right to the customer, allows us to compete on the end user level as well. We're going to go ahead and go to the next slide. And I'll just talk again, I had mentioned about taking on retained earnings to finance their projects, their acquisitions, etc., and also taking on retained earnings to pay dividends. Now, we would recommend that recommend that in an uncertain environment with increasing competitiveness, that their concern right now is, how do they keep their retained earnings? How do they keep paying their dividends and their owners while still financing projects out of this retained earnings account? We recommend they don't actually, they take on some long-term debt. There's certain risks to this, especially with prime interest at about 21%. But our idea is that they're able to satisfy their current shareholders without getting punished in the market with increasing cost of equity. They're able to implement this strategy while maintaining their retained earnings growth, and allows them to compete over the long term on implementing their backward and forward integration. And that's kind of the idea of what we're talking about, and that's where we're going to go from. And we'll take a look at the next slide, and I'll do a bit of a conclusion for it. So just to summarize, we talked about the main issue with Briggs Stratton, trying to maintain a position as a market leader, which they are in the States, but again, they've got these competitive issues. They've got increasingly aggressive international competitors entering the market, such as Honda, which I talked a bit about for a couple of minutes. They've got foreign currency exchange rate risks. Additionally, we didn't get into it, but there's also labor issues as well. But Briggs Stratton has just signed a 3-year contract with the union to keep their labor costs from rising as much as they have been in the past. Now, how do they do that? Primrose talked quite a bit about their backwards strategy in terms of integration with MRP and EOQ, and then their forward integration strategy, allowing them to actually get closer to the end user and the customer and be more competitive. And then I just sort of summarized that, talking about from a financial perspective, even though there's risks to their growth going forward, they can still maintain retained earnings growth by, instead of taking from retained earnings, actually using some of their debt capacity to fund these acquisitions going forward. And we're very confident that this is the right strategy, and we're going to go forward with that recommendation. We'd like to open it up to any questions at this